We've reached that period where we have to admit something. The players whose dribbles and goals we admired as kids are now either retired or preparing to say goodbye. But that also means their children are starting to grow up. And maybe, just maybe, they will be the ones to carry on their father's legacy. The only question is, can they handle the insane pressure that comes with that legacy? Because some kids clearly can, and some already seem to be collapsing under it. What if I told you that Neymar's son doesn't even want to become a footballer, while Messi's little boy already moves like his dad and scores nearly 10 goals per match, and Cristiano Ronaldo Jr. is already scoring for Portugal's national team? Let's take a look at these kids and how they're performing on the pitch. Let's start with a case where the footballer's son does not follow his father's path. Neymar was one of the most technically gifted players of his generation, but he spent most of his career far away from his son. In videos of the two of them, Neymar is still pulling off tricks like he's back at Barcelona, while Davi mostly falls over, gets nutmegged, or freezes completely when he tries to tackle his dad. Of course, you can see he has some feel for the ball, and he can copy a few tricks nicely, but it turned out he loves basketball much more. So it's no surprise that he doesn't want to pursue a football career. But what happens when you don't only have to live up to your father, but also to your grandfather? That's the life of Daniel Maldini. His grandfather, Cesare Maldini, and his father, Paolo Maldini, were legendary defenders, together winning 11 league titles and 6 Champions Leagues. Daniel joined Milan's academy in 2010 and debuted for the first team in 2020, though he plays as an attacking midfielder, not a defender. But he struggled to become a regular starter, so in 2024 he moved to Monza. There, he had an excellent season and earned a €13 million transfer to Atalanta, where he's already getting more chances and has even debuted for the Italian national team. He's only 24, talented, and could easily become a stable Serie A player, maybe even a national team regular, but he's still far from reaching the heights of his father and grandfather. Now we've arrived at the family where the burden may be the heaviest. The Messi family, sons of one of the greatest footballers of all time. It's a whole different level when your father has 8 Ballon d'Or, 4 Champions Leagues, and a World Cup. Messi spent years performing magic at the Camp Nou, and his talent was so unreal that many believed he was almost not from this planet. That's not something you learn, you're born with it. So the question is, did his sons inherit it? Although they're still very young, the signs suggest yes. Like many kids on this list, Messi's sons always played at the academy of whatever club their father played for. And if we look at last season, Thiago Messi, playing for Inter Miami's U15 team, scored 29 goals and provided 20 assists. Matteo Messi, in Inter Miami's U7 team, recorded 27 goals and 13 assists. Ciro Messi, with Inter Miami's U6 team, scored 26 goals and added 14 assists. Messi said this about them: "My sons are very different. Thiago is a thinker, a real playmaker, a midfielder type. Matteo is much more of a striker. He loves scoring, very smart in front of goal, and Ciro is the most explosive, strong in duels and physical battles." So who knows? Maybe one day we'll actually see 3 Messis playing for Barcelona. Most kids on this list have their fathers as role models. Robinho Jr. never really had that, because Robinho was sentenced to 9 years in prison for sexual assault right when his son began to develop as an athlete. Fortunately, someone stepped in. Someone who owed the family a favor: Neymar. Robinho mentored Neymar when he was young at Santos, so Neymar now repays the debt by mentoring Robinho Jr., and the kid is very talented. In 2022, at age 14, he joined Santos's academy, and he plays like a mix of young Robinho and Neymar. When Neymar returned to Santos in 2025, he couldn't wait to work with him. Robinho Jr. debuted for the Santos first team in July 2025. He's only 17, but honestly, based on the footage, he might be a future Ballon d'Or contender. His potential is almost unlimited. Rooney's eldest son, Kai Rooney, looks talented enough to follow in his father's footsteps. Wayne grew up as a tough street kid who, at 16, scored a goal against Arsenal that made the entire Premier League take notice. Later, he won 5 Premier League titles, a Champions League, and became Manchester United's all-time top scorer. Kai, on the other hand, grew up in a much more stable environment, far from that chaos. He first joined United's academy in 2016, then after a short stint in the US, rejoined in 2020 and has been progressing steadily ever since. With his strong build, great technique, and mature game intelligence, many believe he could even come close to his father's legacy. Kai often plays in older age groups. Right now, at 16, he's playing for the U18. He's doing everything he can to earn a place in the first team one day, and all signs suggest he will become a professional footballer. With Wayne's support, he could go very far. João Mendes, Ronaldinho's son, also grew up mostly without his father. Ronaldinho was one of the most gifted and beloved footballers ever, a magician with the ball, born with the same natural genius as Messi. So many assumed his son would inherit those abilities. But Ronaldinho's short relationship with João's mother ended after his birth, and during Ronaldinho's party-filled European years, he was barely a presence in his son's life. When he finally returned to Brazil, João began pursuing football seriously and was signed by Flamengo, the same club his father played for. By all accounts, not because of favoritism, but because he genuinely showed potential. He later moved to Cruzeiro, signing a 6-year professional contract, but that agreement was terminated when a huge opportunity arrived: Europe. At 18, João signed for Barcelona, joining La Masia. He played as a left-back and showed flashes of Brazilian flair, but the coaching staff remained unconvinced. In 2024, he moved to Burnley, played a few matches for the U21 team, but was released at the end of the 2024 to 2025 season. So who knows, maybe he'll still build a solid career at a lower level, but it's unlikely he'll ever reach Ronaldinho's greatness. And now, the kid everyone was probably waiting for, Cristiano Ronaldo Jr. His father, Cristiano Ronaldo, is one of the greatest players of all time, with 5 Ballon d'Ors, 5 Champions Leagues, and insane work ethic. So he faces a pressure similar to that of Messi's sons, except Cristiano Jr. carries massive expectations on his shoulders. He tries to follow his dad's lifestyle and diet, but his childhood has been very different. While Cristiano grew up with nothing, his son already has everything. Still, he has started his career extremely well. He has played for the youth teams of Juventus, Manchester United, Al Nassr, and in May 2025, he was called up to Portugal's U15 team, where, wearing the legendary number 7, he scored 2 goals against Croatia, immediately attracting interest from Bayern, Dortmund, Inter, and of course, Manchester United. He has already scored for the U16 national team as well. He's only 15, but already around 185 centimeters tall, physically strong, and has enormous potential. Of course, he still needs to improve a lot. His father constantly reminds him to work harder and stay disciplined. But if he ever takes football fully seriously, the world may need to prepare for another Ronaldo. And let's be honest, nobody would complain about that. So, we can safely say the coming years will not be lacking in talent. The next generation will give us plenty of players worth keeping an eye on. There are many more names we could have mentioned, like Romeo Beckham, who turned toward modeling instead of football, or Marcus Thuram, son of Lilian Thuram, who now scores goals for Inter and plays for the French national team. But those stories will be for another video.